not expected to be limited in any way tonight. Ball pinballs around. Wallace fires a three. Got it! And he had been ice cold. Just 2 for his last 20 from deep. Freshman versus freshman here. Wallace pull up.
He's so good with that, man. Just 1-2 dribble pull up. That ball screen act.
And the Cats have it with 8 seconds left on the shot clock.
Keep your eye on one in black. He's got to box out here.
Easier said than done, right?
You like the comfort of knowing you can get to the paint without Oscar Tshiebwe down there.
Wallace pump fake. Open three. Studi is down.
Nobody's going to go out there and play him, so they say, fine, we'll just set our ball screen 15 feet and in.
Tshiebwe going to work, kicks it out. An air ball from Cason Wallace. That's a flagrant one for an elbow to Colin Smith. Cason Wallace pull up from the free throw line.
Nice job just pulling up over the smaller defender belt. So they're going to have to front the post and have some backside help.
Wallace down the lane.
There and finish with the offhand.
And the little jumper is just not going for the Cats. They haven't scored in the last 2+ minutes. Wallace for three. Tshiebwe over Malora Brown. Kentucky needs a miracle now. Wallace will fire. Didn't have anything else, and a foul on the rebound. 2 shots coming.
Livingston against Lawrence. Shot clock at 7. There's Wallace. Tshiebwe on the offensive glass. Kentucky in search of its 5th win in a row. Vanderbilt's won 6 of its last 7. Wallace high off the glass. Tshiebwe had it for a moment. Who has it?
The exciting part, you have to jump off at the right time.
He said something about flips and 4-wheelers, and I just said, uh-oh.
Don't tell Cal.
Right. How about a 3? Not that time. Collins. Kentucky's largest lead came at 5. Vanderbilt led 17-15 for about 5 seconds. Wallace up and under, silky smooth.
He plays with such a maturity.
2 have come here in the last 2 minutes. Wallace open for a brief period. Commodores can grab the lead here.
Much better job by Malora Brown.
Being 88-86. Desmond Cambridge, your team needs 3 from you in the final seconds. No problem. Your final score, Arizona State 89, Arizona 88. Kevin.
Not a lot of offense on the court for Kentucky at the moment. Approaching 9 to play in the first half. Wallace left open. And inside a couple counters. He's got some talent, Kevin. He's noted for his aggressive play. He's got good strength. Out on the doorstep, they can't get it. Tshiebwe. Fierro is picked up by Flanagan. Toppin is checked by Williams. And here comes a drive by Cason Wallace inside. Grabbed by Jalen Williams. Jasper was on him. Flanagan is watching. Wallace take it inside. Fierro may have gotten a hand on it. He didn't. It's off his hands. Toppin to Wallace. Shot clock is down to 6. Defending is Flanagan. Screen by Tshiebwe. Open. 2-point shot is good. A 2 atop the circle. 20 feet away. Reeves. Toppin almost had it. Tshiebwe comes up with it. It's out now to Wallace. Floater on the fly is short. Inside, hitting the deck. Fierro again inside, right into Wallace. Got it to go. He's got his first 2 this afternoon. Wallace the other way. Wow.
That's his 9th rebound.
9 They only had 4 the other night. They were talking, they gave him a tough time in practice. Hey, if you're going to get more than 4 rebounds, today's the day to do it. Wallace, 3! Knocks it in. He's played very well. He's a top 10 rebounder, topping his in the SEC. Wallace will scoop. Tap in! It is Toppin again. Over Auburn here in Lexington. Wallace tries with ease. Just tries with ease. He is 15. Fierro is in with Cason Wallace. Couple freshmen playing catch. And Wallace will launch from distance. He was inside the arc. It is a 2. Long.
See, according to Ken Baum, a look at the starting 5. And without 2 key players again tonight, Sabir Wheeler and C.J. Frederick will both miss tonight's game due to injury. Frederick, a rib injury, suffered. They get 38% of their misses. Wallace, wild shot, rebounded by Richard. Without both of those guys for a little while now, but that puts a strain on you. Here's Wallace behind Shibwe's pick. Good screen, couldn't take advantage of it.
And the better his shot selection gets, the better he's going to be overall. But he has seen a good rim tonight.
Cason Wallace short on the jumper. There's one of those mid-ranges.
Watch out. Continue to stay attached to shooters if you're Kentucky on the perimeter.
They made their last 3. Feels like a time where Kentucky could take this game over. Wallace. This is the mid-range.
Right?
Yeah. Last time I checked, forgot my abacus and I left my globe back in the hotel. Left hand. Wallace.
Oh my God.
Beautiful.
Things that you recruit.
And St. Mary's won in overtime on February 4th in Moraga. Cason Wallace blocked by Jatobo. And then it's given right.
Total discombobulated right now is Kentucky.
Wallace. No, Livingston is there to clean it up.
Doesn't go for Meshack. And the rebound is taken by Reeves.
You got to push it before the defense gets set.
Wallace misses it off the back of the iron.
You can't play them well. Their sets, again, baseline bumps. Livingston really hasn't had much of a touch here.
Wallace
Step through.
ducks in for 2. Kentucky is playing with. Let it go. Shot clock down to 5. Wallace using the screen. Wallace, top shot.
Sure was. Empty side, though, he knew. Good choice. Nice extricating of the low post on Shibwe.
Shibwe in a matchup with Adu. Outside Wallace. No good.
So good at screening people off the glass. Top of another guy in the mid-range area. Narrow dribble drive, offensive rebound.
Cut off. Wallace rims out on the floater. And it's out of bounds. It's going to stay right here. Bergman keeps getting more and more time. He's been a factor in this rotation with the injuries.
We've got 18 minutes against Alabama.
The pull-up goes for Cason Wallace.
Well, he has really done a nice job running this. What the makeup does take him.
Got to be perfect. 25-12 Kentucky.
Nice post up and what an entry by Toppin.
It works for Wallace.
Please come down.
He had a 6-inch growth spurt between his junior and senior year of high school. Wallace short. And apparently has maybe another 2 inches in there. 17 per game. That's the first Volunteers 3 of the day. 1 of 9.
Nice little drive. And look, that opens it up when you go to help.
A walk of the recovery, but the foul. 15 Wildcats. Toppin defended by Key.
Although he fell down, a nice pass by Toppin. That's going to be lost his footing, Bert.
Wallace flushes it down.
Shot running the floor. Shibwe was ducking in at the rim. Here he goes again on a roll. Now he's got
Wallace.
Look at that.
Shibwe, he leaned in for his defensive prowess. He's locked in here on Wallace. Wallace leans in, gets it to go, and a foul.
Big time body search. Move because of the foul problems.
Wildcats still have a sizable lead, up by 14. Wallace, tough shot. It rims out. The follow doesn't go for Toppin, and the rebound claimed by Meshack. Kentucky up by 12, trying to add to it. We come up on the 11-minute mark of this second half. Wallace rims out on a three ball.
That was all made by Sheboy running the foot.
It's been already an entertaining evening of SEC hoops. Wallace was blocked inside. Tolu Smith with a help side D.
Right away we see the switch.
Wallace for three. Cleared by Tolu Smith. The head arrow checks in for the first time. 3 in blue. Wallace the fadeaway, and he got it to go. 18-11, Kentucky with its largest lead.
On that possession, block-to-block screen, Kentucky did not react.
Smith with 4, Wallace for 3. Smith the rebound. But on the verge of being dealt their first league loss tonight at Tennessee. Wallace, no. He'll track down his own rebound. He'll keep it alive at least. And Sheboy corrals it. Shot clock down to 2. Sheboy on the offensive glass. And he was clipped. Sandwiched. Wallace. Tapped out. Back to the Bulldogs.
Now next possession, Mississippi State needs a Tolu touch.
How about a touch for Wallace on the other side? In and out. Bulldogs in search of their first lead since it was 5. Wallace. Short.
That looked like a little bit of a tired decision by Wallace.
4 on the shot clock. Reeves to Wallace. Sheboy grabs a rebound in traffic.
Remember, almost 6 again.
Wallace against the much larger Smith. Back iron. Smith taps it out. Cats get it back. Sheboy with the left hand. Inching closer. Toppin triple team. Wallace wide open. And the rebound by Jeffries. The foul over the back end. Sheboy with position. Outside to Wallace. Well short. Kicked out of bounds. Back to Kentucky. 13 to...
Now what a start to burn that pressure off by Kentucky with a hard back cut.
Here's a 3 off the mark. And May Moncrief grabs it for the Dogs.
Push.
D'Arrow along the baseline. Now it's out to Wallace. Again off the mark. And again, one and done for Kentucky. Bridges' first 2, coming off a 26-point, 11-rebound effort in the loss to Ole Miss. Wallace forced it up at close range, but Oscar mid-post. Now Wallace, 0 for 3 from the field. Now 0 for 4 today. That attempt by Wallace off the mark. Offensive rebound, Oscar. Kentucky 6 for 16 from beyond the arc today.
A good recovery by Roberts off that screen-rescreen action.
Wallace has not been his afternoon. An easy 2 by Wallace, his first 2 of the game. Wallace needs to shoot it, and he didn't. Time is of the essence for Kentucky. The follow and the foul.
Floater from Wallace, that misses, and that one is off of Davis's leg. Good hustle by Wallace. Another floater. Wallace no good. Rebound Livingston, and he will be fouled underneath. So an offense block and the runner no good. Sheboy clears it. Wallace all the way to the basket with a left hand.
Does he have an extra gear or what? Such a strong, powerful kid, man. Jordan Walsh with a have-to launch.
Wallace pulls up, and he gets it to go.
Kentucky will get some 15-footers tonight against the drop coverage of.
This is not a team that scores a lot from three-point land. They get a bunch of points in the paint. Boy, another floater, no good. Walsh goes up. He had it. He lost it. Now a scrum on the floor. And Mitchell comes away with it.
He makes a lot of tough shots, though. A lot of tough twos by Council. Hard driver right.
All the way to the rim. Didn't play defense that time against Wallace.
As many bodies in. And you've got to come off even more. You're forcing weak. You know where you're taking the ball. And Walsh just Ole defense opens up with a weak reach at the end. Defensive mistake by Walsh. You've got to know personnel. You've got to understand the game plan.
Wallace, his man flew by him and he knocked it down. That was Black. And Wallace having a terrific first half. Now
there's that trap that Arkansas does so well to close out half.
4 on the shot clock. Livingston hands to Wallace, who fires. That's short. And out of bounds. It'll stick with Kentucky with 2 seconds to clock expired.
But you got to have the courage to take it. Yeah. Kentucky's saying we're daring you to take that shot. And make them pay.
Now Wallace no good with the soft finger roll, but the offensive rebound comes right to him. Sheboy.
Yeah, just keep running it. I mean, if Arkansas is going to continue to drop that deep in their ball screen coverage.
And an 8-0 run for Arkansas. Wallace pulls up and knocks it down.
Calipari needs it. And Devo Davis very patient to go away from the guy that he wants to throw the roll to. No hard tag by Kentucky.
That Wallace misses and that ball deflected. Here comes Council. But they're 28th in the net. This is going to be a quad 1 win. They'll move off the last 4 byline. That shot is up and in from Wallace. But there's
against Kentucky.
Wallace gets one to crawl over the top of the rim after Walsh flushed one down the other end.
Right now for Kentucky.
I mentioned the average margin of victory since December has been only 10 points. The difference between the Kentucky that you see today and what we've seen the last 5-6 years.
Kentucky offense has looked.
I don't know if this is a matchup we would have had a few years ago in college basketball with 2 big guys like Castleton and Sheboy returning to play another year. Nearly stolen from behind by one off. There's no reason to push it. Xavier Wheeler was sensational in his stead. Wallace with the left, another block for Castleton, and that will bring an end to the shot clock. Castleton. Reeves was their leading scorer against Ole Miss. Wallace went around Castleton and got it in.
And Castleton was in drop coverage, so he just had 1 step to get to Wallace.
Wallace got a half step and he's able to finish.
Yeah, Jatobo just too late. And he's not at all the ripper the rim. A lot of pressure to cover.
Bonham can't cash it in. Here's Wallace. He's got a full head of steam.
Man, just outrunning Florida, right? Between Frederick and Cason Wallace. Job by Richard. It's hard to out-second jump Oscar Sheboy like Richard did.
Wallace with a burst. Sheboy the rebound, and he muscles it in. They have from back then.
Tremendous.
Cason Wallace with the jumper. I just thought it was pretty cool listening to you call some of those games at Pistol Pete.
They were 9 out of 11 prior to that last miss, so you put your one down and yeah.
Here's Wallace. And one coming.
I know those are sometimes tough shots to 3 to go if there is one.
13 offensive rebounds for the Cats. Shot clock at 3. Now 2. Wallace for 3.
Huge. He is so strong. And there's a lot of contact on that play. But to finish the possession has been their problem.
Tennessee had 18 offensive rebounds the other night. No rebound there as Wallace finishes. He's got 18 and 5 of them late.
That is so good.
When he comes in, Livingston goes out, but Toppin has gone out. Boy, Wallace thrown to the rim and a chance for a three-point play. This freshman, 7'2", 225. Shibwe 6'9", 260, but Adams is a very strong guy, and he's battling Shibwe tooth and nail. Kept alive by Shibwe. And
huddle that they have got to pick up their pace. They were so good in transition early in this half, and they've got to get back to that. And his second point, Oscar Shibwe's got to post lower. He said he's posting too high up. Got to get better.
He wouldn't mind seeing DeJuan Harris take. He can make it. Wallace, another assist for Shibwe, his 4th of the night. And that was Bobby to the same thing. Good ball movement and a wide open three for Wallace. Big time play by Jalen Wilson. Wallace with a terrific drive, and again it's a 2-point game. But he's had a great game. That's 14 points. He's got 5. Wallace over Wilson. A great defense by Wilson and a terrific rebound by McCullough.
Frederick Toppin. Shibwe, of course, patrolling the middle. Chris Livingston. We'll see a lot of Antonio Reeves. And Cason Wallace connects. It's 4-2. And also some.
I'm not sure he tried to. He accomplished it.
Well, this game has taken on a breakneck pace. Wallace off the mark from downtown. Wallace inside, an easy path.
He is certainly a point guard you can post up. He was when Wheeler was out there.
First possession of the second half. Shibwe off the bounce, outside to Wallace for 3. He splashes that one down. Alyssa, you had a chance to catch up with Jerry Stackhouse.
Win in Knoxville. And you love the locker room scene when they showered Coach Cal with the water bottles.
Wallace for 3. The lead back to 12.
3 straight quality possessions with Shibwe touching it.
Wallace off the screen. The putback is there by Livingston. Wallace is short. The shove and a foul.
Action. Really entertaining Saturday.
Certainly is a change of pace. Wheeler, that's Wallace. Shot clock is off.
Play was to get Oscar Shibwe on the perimeter, guarded by Julius Marble. Here's Cason Wallace, and the freshman leaves it short off of Oscar and perhaps off of Marble with an injury after colliding with Oscar Shibwe in practice. Shot clock late. It is at 3. Wallace, pull-up. That's off the mark. And a rebound by Radford, the best 6'2 rebounder.
We have not seen an Oscar Shibwe touch at that mid-low post area. Expect the double team to come quickly on the first.
Wallace for 3. That's off the mark. And another rebound. This one for Henry Coleman, who started his college out on the NCAA tournament. He used that motivation, the chip on the shoulder, to make a run to the NIT championship game. Here's Cason Wallace for 3.
Got to make him. Shibwe had 3 guys on him on the catch. Look at the length on the floor right now for Kentucky. Taking away your vision. You're having to play 5-on-5 with your eyes if you're A&M.
In and out off of Wallace. Lance Ware in for Shibwe right now.
We'll go under every ball screen on Severe Wheeler to continue to try to put more bodies around Oscar Shibwe to work through.
Cason Wallace is wide open. Cason Wallace for 3. Kentucky 5 of 14 from deep. Looking for Shibwe. They're sinking on the Kentucky big. Wallace in the paint.
And to your point, Shibwe is being defended by a.
So play on, and little floater by by Cason Wallace. It's only his second make of the game. Kentucky by 3. Home crowd. A&M hasn't extended their defense out into the backcourt as they did in the first half. Cason Wallace drains the three.
Got to take the open ones. Going away from the basket. Hard shot. Looks easy.
He's back on track after struggling offensively the last couple of games. 12 points total. Wallace leaves the layup short. Oscar triple team. Frederick.
They're going to pick on Hefner right now with Toppin.
Oscar gave it up.
Good ball movement, huh?
Another three.
As Texas A&M just switches that initial floppy action on Reeves and Frederick.
Wallace drives and gets all the way to the rim.
That's hard to do.
In land of the thoroughbreds, don't look for a horse race. Neither of these teams will run it. Finally, a three drops, and Kentucky gets 25 and 10 on the shot clock. Wallace needed it.
That's huge. Get the zone to.
His career high is 26. He did that at Bradley and also against Auburn this season. High flying Wallace throws it down.
Yeah, sometimes you have to attack back.
57-57. Frederick kicks. Wallace will launch. That's a little short. And the battle for the rebound is won by Georgia. Here's Roberts.
Oh, he's such a vital part. I think Mike White will talk to him about it, getting back in. I'd get him in now. Within the next minute.
Wallace, be careful. That goes down, and Kentucky very, very hot here in the second half. Denver Nugget Dan Issel type basketball. That's on Wednesday.
Oquendo had 22 last year in Rupp Arena. He's up to 12 right now. Wallace, man, he's starting to feel it.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, that's what you thought Wallace would be this year. Athletes everywhere.
That was a bit of a fake. Oquendo looked like he was going with Wallace, just laid it up. You're waiting for a big dunk. Instead, a finger roll and a blow by on the offense.
Flash, but he's the playmaker inside that zone.
They sent it up to Wallace. Three on the kick from Toppin. And they're going to keep it here. Oscar ended up with it in his hands.
Tempo press that time is a little bit more aggressive. See if Wallace would cough one up.
Wallace pulls up. That's too strong. And a quick shot. There's a steal by Reeves. Shibwe, what?
Because this thing was not going their direction in the first half. But they found some answers. Wallace has been tremendous in the second half running that point.
At a time and a culture change at Georgia.
Yeah, he's got his kids believing. They're fighting defensively. What he did in the transfer portal to sell himself and sell the vision. But Kentucky just too much tonight.
Per game this year.
And he kicks it out to Cason Wallace. That's normally a kick out three, but Vescovy did a great job of recovering. Look how difficult these shots are. You know, there's only been one open shot for Kentucky.
I think Livingston is the guy who got him, and it's Kentucky ball. Frederick sees Wallace. And Wallace misses the good look at the three, but another offense afternoon for Zakai Ziegler. Ball screen Shibwe. Wallace floats it up, too strong. And it's Tennessee ball.
Off that low block.
Point of emphasis in the shoot-around today. A lot less dribbling, moving the ball, making it a hot potato as Wallace in with the block. Those two got at each other pretty good on the high school floor last year on the runner with the left hand. No good. Shibwe rebound right back up. That's no good. Horrible loss to Alabama. They're down 13-2 to a South Carolina team that doesn't score a lot. Wallace hard to the basket. He lays it up and lays it in.
Or the different ways to take the ball through traffic. Cason Wallace.
6 points have been at the rim. Wallace open three, and that's off. And a good box up that time, and another Livingston to the baseline, contested by Collins. And here comes Wallace. Takes it to the rack, lays it up, no good. Wheeler is there for the follow.
Yeah, Wheeler's playing his best basketball as a Kentucky Wildcat.
Kentucky's going to have to make outside shots because it's easy for them to collapse on Shibwe if nobody's going to hit from the outside.
Yeah, and Alabama knows it as well. Look at those Alabama defenders. They are staying inside that three-point line.
And Wheeler has 5. Into the paint. Wallace has to fire. No good. Shibwe had it. Oscar Shibwe's put on the ground. Wallace steps into a three. That's no good. Livingston the rebound. Wheeler will try.
Entire game has gone up a level as well.
Alabama's got its foot on the pedal. Shot up, no good. Toppin brought it down the hands of Alabama. Big story.
Man, this Alabama team, a lot of length defensively. They switch up high. They make life miserable for you in the paint.
Yeah, Wallace misses a three, and look at the box out. 3, Alabama.
I mean, there's nobody on the floor that's a threat in transition to drag the defense off of Shibwe. Alabama can just continue to run to the paint all afternoon long. He's tough, he's physical. He did this against Kentucky last year. Mark Sears is
a little different surrounding cast,
yep.
But he's also different as Reeves throws one up, and so he'll make some money blocking shots.
You know, no C.J. Frederick again today for Kentucky doesn't help their outside shooting.
Severe Wheeler looked like he could have pulled up and taken a shot.
He got hurt.
That left ankle of his is bothering him. Wallace with the left. That's no good. Tipped up. No. Collins is finally there.
Questions than answers.
Way more. Got to have a lot of introspection, don't you? A lot of soul searching independently.
And start with asking Oscar Shibwe, what were we doing on our ball screen defense to start the game? What were we supposed to do and what were you doing? Because it quickly became unraveled for Kentucky in this game. They hung in there for a
side that three-point line. Going to put bodies and make a crowded effort against Shibwe and Toppin tonight.
Wallace fires. That one is off, and the rebound goes LSU's way. Another shot, and that one is short to the left. So Miller's launched 3 threes and made one of them.
Yeah,
here's Wallace. There you go. With a dunk, and he's hanging from the rim, and he comes right down on 11-11, 14 to go in the first half.
LSU's not going to ice that side ball screen, and Cal's going to try to go to that empty corner pick and roll. It works really well, Ravi, the first time he goes through it. Wallace comes off.
Guard Monster and Bradley and Quinterly. It's a blockbuster at 1 on ESPN on Saturday. 5-point game here, 10 to go on the shot clock. Wallace launches right on. And
Cal guards his own team by slowing him down, going with a play call against LSU's man-to-man. Going to stack it high.
Wallace too strong. And he kicks. Wallace, hanging floater, it will drop. And LSU will get it with about 15 seconds. What are we going to see from LSU next couple of years?
You're going to see a team that values the basketball. They fight their tail off defensively, and they're solid at sound. As Wallace shoots over the top of that solid sound defense. And you're going to
5 on the shot clock. And Wallace launches. Too strong. Look at Oscar go and get it. Boy, he went after it. Wheeler 3.
Floppy action.
Baseline pull up from Wallace is no good.
Every floppy action.
And they need him to. He missed all of last year with a torn ACL. Wallace. That's too strong. Shibwe, another offensive rebound.
All his.
5 on the shot clock, and Wheeler up in the air, spins. And Shibwe fighting for it. It's going to be LSU basketball. Collins into the game, hands it off to Livingston. Wallace open 3. Too strong, and it's LSU that comes down with it, and that's going to be a foul on Dave. Crowd on its feet at Rupp. Wallace the drive. He lays it up and in. He beat his man Miller.
Cal got the weak side cleared out and got an isolation for Wallace.
Anybody, but it is life or death in this place. I think John's the only one that says that in this building. How about that? Wallace making the 3, sets up his...
Have a nose for the basketball like that. It's amazing.
Well, I've heard him talk about look at this penetration. Too easy. Got to get a stop with your Louisville. Nobody in the gap. What, 1 up.
And he's got 8 points. He's perfect from the floor.
I think he transferred because he couldn't understand the accent. That's hard to see.
Wallace rattles it home.
Payne said even yesterday, he said, you know, we give up these runs and then we don't answer. Wallace is fouled. Count the bucket.
You mentioned Philadelphia. How about a Willie Moscone spin? Wait for the rest. Good play.
Wallace up top for three, in and out. And now James coming back from the torn Achilles. Passed the ball a few more times.
And they're not running that floppy set. Now this is a little box set pin down.
Wallace for three, off the front of the rim.
Look who's there.
Sheboy off the glass. Little danger zone right now for Louisville.
Yeah, I would agree.
Wallace into the paint. Oh, he kept his
step through. Pretty. How about that?
Just a freshman, folks. Throws it up. No good. Gets his own rebounds. Wallace for three. Good.
And the reason he got the rebound, they were trying to keep Sheboy away from the glass.
Wallace. His first shot, no good. Rebound to Craig Emilian. Shot clock at 3, 2. Gets a shot off at the horn. Oh, and he buries it.
Unbelievable. Steady, calm, composed. Didn't even realize until late the shot clock.
Three-point shooting teams in the conference in terms of percentage. Little floater is good. That is just steady from Cason Wallace.
Well, under control. The help is coming over.
He's made 5 straight shots. Corner 3, no good. Rebound Carter. Here come the Tigers. Hodge lost the handle. Hopping in a big way.
It's going to start with his energy and effort. That's where his offense will come if he can get more blocks, rebounds, and hustle plays.
Sheboy, a monster underneath. Kobe Brown getting on the deck, but Kentucky wins it. Wheeler looking around. Wallace with fire. No good. Rebound taken out of there by East.
Have we seen Sheboy get a paint touch in this game? I mean, other than the offensive rebound.
Wallace, second 3 of the game.
We're going to leave him open, congesting the paint.
Big screen by Ware, frees up Wheeler. Here's Wallace, he gets right to the rim. I keep looking for 22.
Yeah. And when the defender is on Sheboy's back, Coach Cal's message was, when things don't go right, how are we going to react? They're failing that test right there.
There's Sheboy battling hard. Wallace got popped across the face. I think he might have got poked in the eye. Wallace. That won't go. Piero and Sheboy trying to keep it alive. It'll belong to Kentucky.
I like the position you get.
Wallace answers the call. Wallace down with 13. That's his third.
Getting deflections, preventing post touches all night long.
Wallace top of the key. Sheboy keeps it alive. Foul. Hodge in and out.
Even when they miss, they get good shots. I mean, this is a team that shares it. 61% of their makes are off assists.
Wallace with another 3, his 4th of the game. Wallace will inbound it. He's playing with 4 fouls. Here's Wheeler. Back to Wallace. Catch, shoot. No good. Long rebound. The arrow keeps it alive.
When you're playing like the most confident team in America, those shots tend to go in.
Off the mark. Sheboy still working hard, but off his knee. It'll belong to Missouri. There's Wallace with another 3.
Cason, and then he switched back. Wallace on a runner, got it, and he's fouled by Campbell.
Well, he makes some amazing floaters. The normal one, the corkscrew.
PLA turns it over.
Wheeler, one-man fast break.
Extra pass, Wallace for 3. Got it.
How about that kick out? Severe set it up. The dribble drive.
Somehow found a crease under there.
That's his footwork. It's impeccable. Great balance. Sets you up, feels your body.
Sheboy gets the offensive rebound. Wallace around a Sheboy pick. Can't get it to go. And look at the
look who gets
hustle
it
again.
Well, that's where he is tough, using that early screen. How about that? Come up empty.
Wallace. Boy, they can't find it from where. Wallace is open. And now he's going to take it inside on the baseline. Did he get the roll? He didn't. Sheboy got the rebound. Missed on him to be a little more offensive this year. Averaged just under 12 last year, just under 13 this year, so there's not a lot of difference. It just seems that way. Xavier Wheeler through.
Nice help by Luba.
Wallace, long step. Didn't get the shot. Jaquez the rebound. Kentucky has fought their way back to get to this point. Now can they stay with it? Wallace.
Etienne, nice job checking out Sheboy.
Working against Singleton. Up and got his own miss.
What a chase.
Wallace, three. That's off the mark. Top and tough offensive rebound.
That outside shot in the offseason. It's gotten better, I think.
Sheboy somehow got an offensive rebound. Wallace lines up for three. That's off the mark.
Well, that would have been big.
Campbell fell down. Wallace goes up. Didn't get the roll though. Sheboy gets the rebound, however. Up and
on the defensive end. That kid jumping past the lanes is one of the best you'll see. Number 0.
Wallace. Anything for Kentucky is going to be too little, too late.
And now they kick it back out with 15 on the shot clock. Wallace, strong take, no good. And Llewellyn will push.
Kobe Buffkin did a really nice job of staying.
That one down. Michigan by 3. Wallace frees himself up, too strong, and good block out that time by Dickinson. It'll be Michigan good. Dickinson battles for it, picks it up, and boy, thankfully it looked like he held on instead of flashing that elbow. It would have smacked Wallace in the cheek.
Dickinson did a nice job of pushing.
Wallace switches places. He lines up a 3. He knocks it down. Good two-man basketball between Reeves and Wallace.
Well, Cason Wallace shoots over 4.
3 on the shot clock for Wallace. Hangs and hits. Boy, did he settle that body down in the air to make the shot. There to get it.
Having to shoot it on the move. He was fading on that.
Wheeler low by and a kick. 3-pointer is good. Wallace have a segment with me, and I put him on the spot. I said, is there any NBA player that you would compare Howard to? Donovan Mitchell's name came up. There's another 3, and Wallace is on fire in the second half.
Average.
Reverse, Dickinson blocked. Still 10 on the shot clock. Wallace, big 3, got it! Huge shot, Cason Wallace.
Boy, Wallace had his feet
in Austin against Texas. Up and flips out. And a shot off the mark for Wallace. Here comes
to get to that basketball in the far corner. Just ignites that run game by Drew Timme up top.
Wallace, the floater. Timme, the rebound. Zags on the go. Timme looking. Strother miss as Kentucky into the front court. Wallace puts it on the floor. Wide open lane to the basket.
Yeah, he's a special kid, Cason Wallace is. They call him Casers. And that's what Strother has done in this game against C.J. Frederick.
Wallace, unimpeded, misses with the left hand. Timme the rebound, and a foul on Frederick's shoe is still not totally on.
No, it's not.
Shot clock under 5, and that one knocked down at a biggie by Cason Wallace. On ESPN.
The special teams of TCU yesterday, right? Run that field goal team out there and kick that thing for a game winner.
Wallace buries a 3.
Gear starting, boom, there, right there. And Cason Wallace can only step out of the way and let him go.
And Wallace able to get that one.
That is so difficult to do.
Wallace uses the window and puts it in.
points and 6 rebounds, but 10 fouls that he's drawn because of his game is a foulable game. The spin, the speed, the ball handling ability for a kid his size.
Frederick, Chris Livingston, Jacob Topan y Lance Ware son los titulares del conjunto de los Wildcats. La misma tónica, intento de 3 puntos, se queda corto. Aparecía en el intento justamente Wallace. Vamos a ver la pérdida de balón, la recuperación y viene la anotación. El mismo Wallace en el segundo intento, su primer año en la NCAA, esa enorme dualidad que tiene, ¿no? ¿Cuántas veces hizo doble-doble en cuanto a puntos por partido y en cuanto a rebotes se refiere durante la campaña anterior?
Chico con el número 34 que apenas está viendo sus primeros minutos por alguna razón y se hablaba de algunas situaciones personales, bajó el ritmo al cierre de la temporada.
Para el estelar jugador del equipo de Kentucky.
Sí, y es interesante porque ya vemos en esta recta final del primer periodo 2 defensas mejor plantadas y una vez más el
balones. Esto es lo que más le molesta al coach Izzo, que por cierto, el hijo del coach Izzo forma parte también de este roster, Steven Izzo. No lo hemos visto hasta el momento con el número. Vamos a ver qué tanto impera el ritmo de parte de Kentucky. Otro de los temas, les quedan todavía 4 tiempos fuera a los 2 equipos para lo que resta del partido. Una gran jugada, terminó de manera efectiva con el estelar Cason Wallace. Mucho a destacar de este jugador, apenas iniciando su carrera en el básquetbol colegial. Bueno, otra vez haciendo la misma. Vamos a ver cuánto le dura a continuación esta posesión. Este es Wheeler, ahora con Cason Wallace. Viene el intento atacando la pintura. Se le fue acabando el ángulo de tiro.
De responder, ha mantenido la calma. Ha tenido esa tranquilidad, esa frialdad para armar la jugada. ¡Ah, qué disparo! ¡Qué disparo tremendo!
Wallace drives. No look out to Reeves for 3. Pretty play for the Cats. They're up by 7.
That's a Mona Lisa. How about the hang time to go to the opposite side of the rim and finish?
And he was able to spin it in. Toppin with the answer from deep. His first 3 of the night.
He's becoming a 3-level scorer.
Shibwe buries the long jumper.
That makes it tough, doesn't it? You get Wallace and Shibwe.
Their best basketball of the year.
That was not Vanderbilt basketball against Alabama.
Toppin with the lob push.
And they have responded. They've faced their own adversity. And they've been counting
games and only lost 13 in games where he's had a 10-point lead. Here's Toppin. Huge 3 for Jacob Toppin and a quick timeout taken by Kentucky.
Been better in the SEC. He's been a double-double machine. 22 and 10 over the course of that period. Shibwe, 17-footer. Well, I tell you, that shot's in the repertoire this season.
In peace. Let me bring in my expert.
So many scratches.
Those are from my car keys.
Such a rich history. This won't do well at auction, but
Kentucky 19-9. Auburn. First meeting of the season. They go inside off the bench and slamming it in, Lance Ware.
But now Ware. Offensive rebounds now for Auburn against Kentucky, who is an outstanding defensive rebounding team.
Reeves, 3. He leaves Kentucky in 3-point. Wallace will drive. Fierro. 3. Got it! That is only his 7th try from and taken away by Wallace with the defense there that Dan was just talking about. Reeves, 3, bullseye.
Boy, Wallace is something, isn't he? In the Mountain West, but there's some good teams
there are. Wallace making a move.
Oh, what a pass.
Shibwe. Wow. Team in the SEC.
That's overall win.
Overall wins. Yes, overall wins.
That's an impressive number.
Another triple. He is a flamethrower. Doubled. Toppin inside. Intercepted. It's picked off by Wallace. Who else at the other end? With a sledgehammer. Chris Livingston. Biggest lead for Kentucky. Running on that baseline. Livingston. Wallace. Green back in. Reeves. Three.
Well, no question about whether that one was a three.
Last 3 games, 23 assists to only 5 turnovers. He's not shooting the ball well from deep, though. Look at this pass. Finds Sheway for the jam.
What a hot start by Cason Wallace. Defensively, they were one of the better 2-point defenses in the country. Number 7 overall.
Livingston's been playing great lately. 25 and 15 over his last 2. Kentucky.
Per minutes played, that dude took more shots than anybody.
Here's Oscar with the turnaround, stepped into a long 2. He's knocked down 2 mid-range jumpers. 3, they've missed their last 7 field goal attempts. Ware powers it in.
Grown man basket by Lance Ware. There are going to be.
But Ware and Sheway sharing time in the front court.
And Kentucky just gets up a shot. The offensive glass comes into play, but Sheway, my goodness, does he look confident with that stroke.
Dominated this series, including a win first game of February in Rupp. Reeves with the floater. Talking with Todd Golden at shoot-around today, though. He's
going to get his numbers, but you've got to be there and throwing body blows yourself if you're a kid like Jatobo. Got him.
Toppin snuck in behind him. I was going to say, he outweighs Sheway by 50 pounds. That is Windex.
And Florida doesn't go to the offensive glass, so it's a compounded problem tonight.
There's a quick move by Oscar Sheway working on Jatobo.
Good gracious.
Third per. Kentucky's outscored Florida by 7 this half. Toppin wide open. Thought about it. Drained it.
Got to take it, Tom. When you say wide open, you've got
2 for a long stretch. Field goal percentage defense, opponent 3-point percentage as well. Livingston, count it for 3. Wallace made that play. That was tipped in the air. Back on the floor for Tennessee playing with those 2 fouls.
That takes a lot of their offense away. Nice look out.
On a rack attack and the foul. And what a nice look. He started 1-3 in conference play. Won 7 of its next 9.
Nice replace.
Toppin is popping for 3.
Tell you what, this far out too doesn't have the opportunity offensive rebound, which he can do well.
Sheway sets the screen. There's the slams it down. Oscar Sheway, the big O, with a big. Needed it and required it today. 14 for Meshack.
Nice cut again by Toppin.
Toppin a little out of control. Circus shot goes for Jacob Toppin. And a great back in the hands of Wallace. He's got Vescovy. 10 to shoot. Reeves pull up.
Give it up too much.
Wallace with a path and the handoff. The layup is good. And the Cats on the board first. You take a look at the starting 5 for the Bulldogs. Wallace rips it away with the steal.
Kentucky's defense really good, collapsing inside.
That's a 3 from the corner, and Reeves connects.
That's one of the things Chris Jans talked to us about today. Transition deep. The season started. If you don't understand how disruptive that is in terms of getting better in practice, because college teams get better in practice. Sheway a step behind.
Meanwhile, Tennessee is pulled in front of Alabama by 8 late. Sheway down low.
Yeah, when you're the weak side defender, Wallace coming downhill. Ware didn't get out of the way.
Toppin for 3.
Doesn't matter.
That's one way to execute. And a timeout called by Sheway. Banks it in. Boy, something magical on this end of the floor with the bank shot.
And Reeves, the sharpshooter, with the seams, knocks down the 3 ball.
4-5 from deep is Antonio Reeves. Livingston, smash mouth hoops inside.
They can post him up.
Livingston, a deep 3. On the way, and he connects.
Offensively minded now. He can heat up
inside to Livingston. Wallace able to corral the board. Collins inside. And the big fella with a chance for three.
To try and regroup.
Toppin past Matthews, the floater, yes. And you mentioned it, Chris Jan sensing the same thing that you were, Coach,
all year.
Lob to Toppin, Jacob Toppin.
Find Wallace and Reeves.
There's Damian Collins. Youngster getting some burn early on. And another three. Antonio Reeves heating up.
He's the kind of guy
to Livingston.
Good short closeout by Kentucky on a non-shooter Holt.
Shibwe challenged, but gets the bucket to go off the glass. A dozen for Oscar.
Moving towards the paint on the move, and he's a very fallible guy when he's like that.
On the move, Jacob Toppin on cue.
Really good job against that two. I think he plays today for Eric Musselman, and he could be a difference maker for the Hogs down the stretch. Got to let it fly.
Toppin does, and knocks down the triple.
And Kentucky, you got to stay organized. Screen the top of it, get downhill, and make a play. I like that. Yes,
Livingston,
sir.
My goodness.
I like that, screening that 1-3-1.
Be the nation in free throws. Well, it's 3-ball time. Jacob Toppin gets that. Exactly what Kentucky needed, but they need.
I love that description.
Shibwe fires and knocks that one down. Something he's been working hard on. Antonio Reeves into the game for Kentucky. It's been instant offense off the bench. The shot has been particularly on lately. Shibwe will fire and bank it in.
Missed it so bad it went in. So good, Ratty, going left into that hang time shot.
Collins into the game, and his first shot rattles around the rim and goes down.
So good to see Dame. A pogo stick waiting to happen.
Instead, he pops out and shoots. Got it! Will it count? Yes, they say it will. We'll look at it, but
today at shoot around, and he said with this group it took a little longer for us to all realize and accept that if everyone stars in our role, everybody's going to eat. Everybody was worried about what I got to do, not what the
team. Florida to burn the pressure off with back cuts and get easy looks.
Here's Reeves with the floater.
That's the shot I'm talking about. You're going to drop coverage and allow guys to turn the corner of the elbow. Kentucky.
Wallace downhill. Toppin steps through. He's got another double-double at 17 points and 10 boards for
Wilson ties it up with a runner at the other end.
Anytime there's a turnover, missed shot, Kansas excellent in transition.
Boy, look at Kentucky getting down the floor. Chris Livingston lays it in.
And that was after a made.
The glass too strong, and another rebound for Shibwe. Livingston in transition, jump stop and a finish. What a start he's off to.
Kentucky is getting out. Kentucky's playing in the half court. They've not been as efficient. But when they're getting out in transition after a make or a miss, they've gotten anything they want.
Ejiofor can't handle Shibwe, who's got a chance for
21 points a game, who's averaging 30 over his last 3.
Shibwe lays it in, the assist to Wallace.
Just a miscommunication. 2 wound up on the ball.
The screen to try to free up Wallace. Reeves with a runner. As you said, he's not just a catch and shoot guy.
He is really good with that little.
Open look for Frederick, steps into it. Spins it down, 25-20.
Great old school 3-on-3 defensive breakdowns over at the Kraft Center. Look at the difference. The first 4 games in conference play to the last 2. As that dunker spot is always a threat for Kentucky, but man, look at the difference.
14-2 run for A&M. Toppin left wide open, and he makes his first 3. That's only his 3rd 3 in conference.
See if he can pick up the 4th. He doesn't want to foul. You'll have some clean looks at the rim if you're A&M. Wallace the lob and Toppin to finish.
It's always a threat for Toppin.
That Grimm's a second, but Wallace is there.
Kentucky runs a good free throw misplay.
Bam.
Reeves for three.
Yeah, you don't box off. Game, we're going to Onyenso. Freshman at 6'11", went right at him. Good bounce pass there. Pretty play by Wallace with a drop-off.
And a great job by Onyenso to get his eyes immediately.
Dykes.
So is most of America.
There's a steal by Wallace. Averages better than 2 steals per game. Ahead to Toppin, and finally Kentucky is on the board.
Well, that's what Cason, while he was first to the floor. And that's the kind of attitude Kentucky wants to continue.
Wallace now, Kentucky with a 3-on-2 going down the court. And Antonio Reeves, the senior, the transfer from...
...to get back in control right now after that warning.
Although Kentucky inbounding, so I think maybe the discussion was whether or not they should upgrade it to an F1. Obviously they didn't, Jay, or there would...
Oh, I thought Chuck said that they upgraded. Okay,
we couldn't finish it.
He got hit, and the defense was behind him. And you're allowed to go anywhere you want if the not in legal guarding position. And Oscar Shibwe doing a great job when he runs the floor.
Tie game. But not for long. C.J. Frederick puts the Cats back on.
Going out of a horn set to a high ball screen with Oscar Shibwe.
Reeves with a runner. Yes.
Wait, Tennessee just gave up.
Kentucky's got to get Oscar Shibwe going offensively. He was a no-show at Alabama because he was covered up with length.
That's having a good move, and he throws it up with his left hand. He lost the defender, Verdon.
Now, he's really good against an equal
head, and he sat down. Frustrated the way things are going. They have 2 on the shot clock. Toppin does get it off, and he knocks it down. They'll take a look at it, but it looked from here.
A top 30, 40 defensive team himself, but so far today, Alabama has snuffed out all the actions. Kentucky guards are taking a lot of tough twos like Reeves just hit right there.
That's it. You agree with that?
In terms of potential
Final Four teams in the conference.
I would say Arkansas would be in that group if they were 100%. The loss of Trayvon Brazile and Nick Smith.
At 3. Just keep that thing packed in. Wheeler trying to find a hole. Wallace can't, and Wheeler will shoot the 3 and find the net.
To my point about Severe Wheeler. He's a 38%
minutes for Collins. Wallace, good dish, Shibwe. He drew 2 defenders, and he had a wide open Oscar Shibwe. Watch out. The oop is wide open. Good look from Wallace to Toppin on the baseline. Toppin with the cut. Yes, it was.
I'm telling you, he's the best cutter that Kentucky has off ball. And Wallace kind of drove the dot.
For Florida, which went on 2 monster runs. Trying to get it deep to Shimchick. And it's blocked. What a recovery by Antonio Reeves to help his teammate out. Now he wants to shoot it. Be the offense. Myron Jones is not. But it's poked away. Reeves found it. And he got fouled by Wallace.
17-9, 8-5 in the conference. Nice. Vescovy in and out. And rebound taken by Wallace.
Don't get back.
Reeves can shoot it. Got a 3. Spread it here with Kamla taking it to the outside. The jumper doesn't go. Rebound, same team, but it lands in the hands of Wallace.
Got a wing pass.
Toppin can fly to the rim. Working here offensively for Tennessee.
Nice kick.
Meshack has it blocked, deflected, break opportunity.
Nice hand.
Knock away from Wallace.
How about that?
Recovered by Keith. Get it in. Vescovy, no. Follow doesn't go for Meshack. And Kentucky controls it. They can bring this lead to double figures.
Competing on the glass.
Tennessee is at a 10.5 rebounding margin in its wins. Jumper is off the mark for Key. And controlled by Kentucky. Wallace gets it ahead for Toppin.
Wallace did a good job not fouling there.
Jumper. Kamla comes up short.
But they have been running their stuff so well prior to that. Able to get into that lane.
Post-up opportunity. Nice. Off the mark. Owaka.
hitting the deck. Wallace
Get away with it.
get it ahead. Reed, 2-0.
One of those super playing up transfers in this conference.
Jeffrey short. Cats in the midst of a 7-0 run. In transition, Reeves thought about it. He'll track down his own rebound. He'll keep it alive at least. And Shibwe corrals it. Shot clock down to 2.
Livingston.
How about outside to Livingston? Wallace able to corral the board. Collins inside. And the big fella with a chance for teams. Get Shibwe. Good defense that time.
What a battle that was between the two bigs.
Baskets in transition. 12 and Blues got to knock multiple threes down in this game.
Ingram, they let him shoot it. He's off the mark that time. Shibwe. Georgia led by as many as 10. They're up 3 now. Cason Wallace gets it back. It's to shoot it, and he didn't. Time is of the essence for Kentucky. The follow and the foul. Probably the last.
I think that team is still Elite 8, Final Four good.
Black back in. He fires a 3. That's no good. This is not a team that scores a lot from three-point land. They get a bunch of points in the paint. Boy, another floater. No more.
You got Tito Davis, a legit three-point shooter now, and Pinion.
High arcer from Davis. That was affected by Collins. Wallace has it. And now some numbers for Kentucky. Oh!
Take it. Yeah. Kentucky's saying we're daring you to take that shot. And they can pay.
Now Wallace no good with the soft finger roll, but the offensive rebound comes right to him. Shibwe intercepted a pass that was...
McCullough contested well by Livingston.
Boy, great job by Livingston to play the drive and then recover and be able to bother that shot.
Kansas
Get into my stance. I can box people out with my strength in my lower body. He's added 10 pounds of muscle this year, but he's actually increased his vertebral by 2 inches. KJ Adams was ready for what he'd have to do tonight.
Just huge wins for the Mountaineers and the Sooners today over ranked teams.
Ooh, boy, that was deep. That was out of Calipari's coaching box.
Into the paint. Left it short. Wallace the rebound.
Boy, great defense by Cason Wallace. Just stayed low, used his leverage, and made Wilson.
Wilson with a long 2. Kentucky ball. John Calipari calling out of it 7. Adams with a full head of steam. Misses the lay-in.
Looked like he got hit going up, but just wasn't able to finish it.
And a block by McCullough.
He out. And Bradley blocked that time, topping from the weak side.
Can Kentucky score off their run game?
Livingston in the paint, throws it up off the window, and finally, Clowney, good move by Livingston to the baseline, contested by Collins. And here comes Wallace. Takes it to the rack, lays it up, no good. Wheeler is there for the follow.
Yeah, Wheeler's put
and misses. And a little better defense by Shibwe and Kentucky on Bediako. Wheeler was the story of the first half. He and Reeves each had the SEC. Alabama, Arkansas, Tennessee. That's it. You agree with that?
In terms of potential
Final Four teams in the conference.
Oscar Shibwe, what were we doing on our ball screen defense to start the game? What were we supposed to do, and what were you doing? Because it quickly became unraveled for Kentucky in this game. They hung in there for a while, but they're
a lot of dribbling from Miller, and the floater no good. Shibwe can't come up with it, and it is Kentucky on the run out. Wallace, the bowling ball to the rack, no foul. He's on the ground and slow to get up.
With the ability of Shibwe to run with Hannibal, very impressive. Foundation and the culture and the belief in terms of how they want to play. Another big guy for LSU spinning.
Yeah, those foundational pieces from Murray State, because they bring with them.
And that is something special there. He just gets around that ball screen, a little bit of a
and he steals it.
Magnon jumped Wallace, who's sending in the play call, but he blew the leg.
That time by Livingston, a freshman, to another freshman, the point guard Wallace. And through the hands and a high pass to Antonio Reeves. Wallace, a couple of threes. Momentum changers for this Wildcat team and part of their run. Ball lost right there. Now work low on Green on the block. Low post knocked away. And it's off of Kentucky.
Really good gap pass to Jatobo. Kentucky trying to down that action, and Jatobo just slips out of it.
And denial out front. Here's Richard. And it's blocked by Wallace. Very aware of Castleton's prowess, and he said, I love competing against that guy, but tonight a different story with Castleton out with a broken hand. Reeves, good. No, you're right on time. Be the offense. Myron Jones is not, but it's poked away. Reeves found it.
6 and 07. Only 3 times in the past 51 years have we had a repeat national title. Winner, Florida 06-07, Duke 91-92, the great UCLA team 72.
And Wallace walked with it.
Absolutely he did.
13th. A little post-up jump hook. That was strong from Kamwa. Over that left shoulder, got to force him the other way a little bit. Good size, 6'9", 236, and then Kentucky turns it over on the other end. Now you see Tennessee got nice kick. Ashak has it blocked, deflected, break opportunity. Nice hand. Knock away nice from hand. Wallace. How about that? Recovered by Key. He is a good defender. Wallace, don't foul now. Gets around Key. Wallace, goodness, gives it away. Adu and Toppin took a shot to the shoulder and
the three-point shooting can be fool's gold at times. Shibwe lost the handle. Right? I mean, as a coach, you think about that. For a team that gets hot early, you got to be careful to not fall in
to go, but certainly a loss today. You're taking a step back in the wrong direction. Mainly, it's how does it affect Jimmy's jet, which is what we're going to get to in the second half. Are you on the jet? There's something different about this building. And this game has that intensity feel about it.
Not a good pass that time from Wallace. Here's Davis ahead of the field. And Wallace with
intercepted a pass that was intended for Frederick.
Wallace with a mismatch. Good
hands by Black. Yes, and he's got a run up from behind.
No block attempt.
But Arkansas has knocked down some huge threes between Council and Walsh.
Second leading scorer in the SEC, and another steal. This one from Wallace. Davis up and in.
Off of Cason Wallace's thigh. Arkansas, they play a rugged game. They don't rely on the 3-ball. I know they made some tonight, 4 out of 9, but they didn't settle for them. They took 41 twos in this game. Gradually bringing in with the idea of having this Arkansas team clicking on full cylinders when they get to Nashville for that SEC tournament. Arkansas with so many bigs.
There's a look and no whistle on the drive. Catch the other way. Gators pick it up, and it's stolen by Shibwe. He's done everything here in the first 2.5 minutes.
It's money for the Florida Gators. Castleton rolling on an empty corner.
Here's a Florida takeaway. Gators willing to push going the other way. Ball got loose, and it's run into double figures. Not a great pass from Wallace.
No, it's a horrible pass. Below the knee level of Shibwe on the roll. Talked about Florida need a good start. They got one.
McCullough leaves the jumper short. Good play by Harris deflecting the pass. And Dick misses the layup. And it's that to quiet the crowd. And here we're going back to high-low. Knocked away. Kansas with numbers. And Dick lays it in. It's a 6-point lead.
The transition 3 is off the mark. Livingston pulls it down. Oscar running the floor, and he's cut off by Wade Taylor.
What a tremendous play by Wade Taylor to sprint and get outside that restricted
earlier in conference play. And those A&M bigs went on a run with Shibwe on the bench in foul trouble, a 14-2 run. Livingston off the cut, can't corral it. A&M has a chance to push. Kind of a matchup man or zone here for A&M. And the entry pass stolen away by Wade Taylor. Here's Boots Radford for three. Wallace walked with it, and they almost missed it.
That's on Toppin, though, Tom. He's running up the floor without his eyes on the ball. I mean, Wallace is thinking, I'm the straight man. Late clock.
Wallace lobbed to Ware, wasn't there, and it's a Kentucky turnover.
It wasn't there, and Ware wasn't ready to go attack the ball. Georgia in that Athens area.
Easy to do.
Yes, it is. That's 5.
It was a 5-second call against Roberts. Jimmy was all over it. Marty, what'd you learn from the Kentucky?
Hit him on every play, make him feel the Volunteer defense and their offense, and see if they can wear him down through the course of 40 minutes.
A turnover stolen away by Vescovi, and he'll...
The biggest thing is taking care of the ball and really punching at Kentucky. Said we had a chance at the beginning of the game to really run away with that, and we didn't do it, didn't execute. See if they can get out to a better start here.
They try a lob, but it doesn't connect. He throws it away as he was falling out of bounds. And now we got an offensive foul going against the Cats. It'll be on Wallace, and that'll be his third.
Defensively,
Ziegler again looking for the foul call, didn't get it. And a travel called on Cason Wallace. Wallace, the freshman, surrounded. And a 5-second call. No. Yes, a 5-second call. And it's Tennessee ball.
But it's Adu Thiero who comes up with it. You look at the conference, Joe Lunardi, Jimmy, in his Final Four predictions for the SEC. An impact.
Yeah, they Kentucky 40% from the three-point line. They're shooting 39% as a team, which leads the league.
Lazy pass there. It's swiped, and here's Hannibal. He dishes. Look out. I thought he was...
Where does Kentucky go from here?
Well, they've got to be coachable and accept when they look in the film room and look at those mistakes and admit, hey,
doesn't he? He's been chippy since the game started. I mean, early on, he had brought the fight to the Wildcats. You saw him get the spectacular and one early on in traffic. He's been vocal.
That pass, Livingston was on his way in.
Livingston has a habit of...
Frederick around a screen.
Offensive foul.
Yep.
Wallace on the head.
Wallace on the screen.
Yeah, their hand there. Remember that.
Tuesday. Long ways to go in this one. And knocked away, and then Sheboy with a bump on Jaquez.
Almost an effort.
We asked James Jones, okay, who's the most likely candidate? He didn't have an answer. He's like, we all got to step up. Wallace lost the handle.
Trying to do too much off the bounce.
Dickinson trying to throw it behind Wallace, who wasn't looking, and he turned at the last second like a good defensive back and picked it off.
This Wallace three was made possible.
4 fouls. Hands deflected away. Bufkin. Now he steals the ball and he drives on Wallace. Can't get it. Follow up Howard. What a play by...
Lob up ahead. Reg able to save it. And back and forth we go.
How about Guns 5? He will go down as one of the most popular Zags ever with Adam Morrison and Roni Turioff. Those 3 guys have set the bar in terms of popularity and what it means to be a Zag. Timmy, good job by Toppin to get set, knowing that Timmy loves to spin. But the contact occurred before the spin. It's the right call.
And Wallace throws it away.
Totalmente de acuerdo, y además ya hablábamos lo difícil que tiene contra Villanova, Alabama, Yukon.
Ha entrado en calor en la duela, me atrevo a decir, prácticamente desde que restaban 10 minutos de la primera mitad. Atención con esta, era el pase para Sheboy. El intento de jugada de pick and roll.
Ahora la gran diferencia y la presión obviamente sobre el equipo de Kentucky.
La entrega de balón y esta puede ser la espada de Damocles.
Kentucky trying to down that action, and Jatobo just slips out of it.
And denial out front. Here's Richard. And it's blocked by Wallace. What a
good look, though. Simple floppy action for Reeves.
Here's Hill. Swallowed up by that Kentucky defense. We've got a back and forth.
Not a good pass that time from Wallace. Here's Davis ahead of the field. And Wallace with the denial. Collins wants the alley-oop pass instead.
And another turnover on a bad pass. Council. That ball was blocked. Razorbacks have owned the first.
Byron Jones. And Florida imperfect to start, but the rebound gives Jones a look and no whistle on the drive. Catch the other way. Gators pick it up.
An empty corner.
Here's a Florida takeaway. Gators willing to push going the other way. Ball got loose, and it's brought down by Chris Livingston, talented freshman.
Two tremendous have a real team right now, the Wildcats.
Kugel blocked with two hands by Cason Wallace.
How good has Wallace been at the rim defensively in this game?
Frederick.
Boy, Livingston playing with confidence tonight. But Grady Dick knocks it away, and now Kansas in transition. Wilson blocked, but Dick follows up to make it a three-point game.
But Grady.
And with Oscar lunging, Wade Taylor, the fourth, finds the rebound. Taylor pushes it. Here's Dennis. Blocked by Wallace. Dennis gets it right back, and he'll go to the free.
What a vicious cut by Frederick to run to get the ball to start with, and to stay under control and not shoot an off-balance jumper.
Radford had it partially blocked by Wallace.
Hard on that right hand of Roberts is Wallace. Got him on an island. Roberts will go to work.
10 seconds to go. That's a very good defensive position by Wallace. Went straight up, and he caused a 3-on-1 run at Golson. Blocked. Boy, Wallace elevates a mile in the air. Dude, dear.
Is that guy an athlete?
Open. No good.
Those are the shots that if you can force Antonio Reeves to take, those pull-up jumpers.
Woo! Big time block that time from
a los Spartans con una nueva posesión de balones. Hoggard buscaba a Cooper, que se queda corto en el tablero. El que recupera.
Turned his back to the defender. Oh my goodness!
If I am 5'8", Tevin Brewer, this is not a good business decision.
Well, it's good to see Brewer
hopping on the switch. Skip pass intercepted by Wallace. Here's Reeves. Fouled on his. Magnon dishes to Melora Brown, and Wallace takes it away. Vanderbilt's cold shooting, parlayed with a 6-0 Kentucky run, has made it a 5-point game, and now Wallace is steal. Reeves ahead. He's got Livingston. Slipped.
Again. With a hook, and it's off. Rebound pulled down that time by Moore. Donaldson, the freshman, tries to drive, and it's pickpocketed that time by Livingston, a freshman. To another freshman, the point guard, Wallace. Reeves has put in 8. 5 in the second half. And a violation was on the inbounds pass. Chris Moultz, the zero. Katie Johnson will miss. Cardwell has the offensive rebound. Green trying to go up. And taken away by Wallace with the defense there that Dan was just talking about. Reeves, 3. Broom, Sheboy defends. Doubled, Toppin, inside, intercepted. It's picked off by Wallace. Who else at the other end with a swing?
At the rim in this game.
Here's Lofton, poked away by Wallace, an elite defender. Livingston has it. Numbers for the Cats. Toppin right back to him. Threat there than Castleton ever was.
Yeah.
Lofton loses it. Wallace finds it. Transition, Reeves.
State of Maryland. 4-2 lead for Kentucky.
Vescovy so busy, makes it tough defensively. Nice hands. He bounced it off the foot of Shibwe. Reeves way off.
Well, his activity stood out first 4 minutes tonight. And a turnover. Smith's pass was deflected. And Livingston contacted him. Even with a make, still a one-possession game. He drilled it. Fierro checks in. Reeves goes out.
Black goes baseline, loses it. Here's Wallace.
That pass.
Oh, yes, he's there to deflect it away. And now they are running out 4-on-2. Smith back at some point in the near future, as Davis just dribbled himself into a turnover. So you take a look at Eric Musselman's resume. Remember, Brazil went out for the season with an ACL.
Washington a spell before the media timeout. Lofton lost it. Frederick found it. Kentucky with a chance to push. No numbers, no matter. Frederick finishes.
10th time in the last 12 seasons these two great programs have met, either in this event or in the Champions Classic. A turnover. Shibwe shovels it ahead to Livingston. 9-4.
After that timeout, Kansas has been very assertive on the offensive end, and now a turnover.
And KJ Adams commits the foul.
You don't want to see him pick up a foul because he's so
Kansas with the ball in a 2-point lead here at Rupp. Loose ball off the foot of Grady Dick, out of bounds, back to UK.
Well, coaches are offense, you pass away from the defense, and Ude able to get the steal.
This time they can't convert at the other end on the alley-oop attempt.
Disrupted by Cason Wallace. Shot. That's a shot that Jacob Toppin can hit. He's proven that. Good deflection by Wheeler. Boy, that would have been a layup but for that deflection.
Do you just jack a bunch of threes, and that's one way you try to neutralize things?
Well, you want to make them move a little bit on the defensive end and spread them out some. And Kentucky's going to use this drop coverage where Shibwe kind of hangs out around the free throw line. So you want to
foul trouble, a 14-2 run. Livingston off the cut, can't corral it. A&M has a chance to push. Great hands by Cason Wallace. Foul trouble for A&M. Had Boots Radford.
Last two ball games, Georgia comes in, Ravi, they've given up about 55, 56 points a game. Kentucky too much strength. All about Oscar Shibwe, who points at the crowd.
Routine through the game. That might be helpful.
Still basking in the glow of the lack of a play-by-play announcer that he had in his last game when you and Jimmy Dykes.
So is most of America. 5-on-5 in the half court all game long.
Vescovy almost lost it, has to dive to the deck, and Kentucky's got it again. So back-to-back turnovers committed by the Vols, and then a foul.
Well, he's gained 15, 20 pounds since last year. Good hands by Cason Wallace.
That's going to be Kentucky basketball, sure was. A little lackadaisical effort from Alabama offensively there.
Here, we're going on a little run. I like this.
Yeah, they work it up top. They get it to Ellis on the curl again. That's a tough pass.
I think it was Kobe Brown, too, but a monster game.
James looking for Withers. Gets it to him. James posting up. It'll be Kentucky basketball. Wallace just got his hand in there.
He is very active.
Feeds Shibwe. Kobe Brown gets on the deck. Gets it to East. Up ahead to Gamillion. Boy, what an athlete. Caden Wallace looking like a receiver.
that assist to turnover ratio, point of emphasis for Coach Gates. Very smart, high IQ ball club.
Here's Kobe Brown, knocked out of there by C.J. Frederick. Wallace back to C.J. His first
in conference. They're new to the SWAC, longtime MEAC squad. Little penetration cut off, leak ahead. Here's Chris Livingston. 55 points a game. They've really struggled shooting the ball. 362 out of 363 Division I teams in offensive efficiency. They turn it over a lot too. Wallace fouled. Livingston gambled. Lewis June went by him, but then good hands by Wallace. Taken away. Here's Cason Wallace. And 20-point Kentucky lead. It was down to 7 in the second half. Oscar finds the ball and shot clock is off.
Andrews on the floor now. Gives Tiger a blow, runs the show. Going to be a nice player.
Lance Ware now trying to defend on Jaquez, and that was just a loose ball. Hit somebody's hip. And this time it still won't go.
Look at the hustle Bailey to the ball.
And Wallace likewise hustling to hit the deck. And it's going to be Kentucky ball.
And Wallace forced the turnover.
It's a great example of Mbang dribbling.
Dickinson trying to throw it behind Wallace, who wasn't looking, and he turned at the last second like a good defensive back and picked it off.
This Wallace three was made possible on Oscar Tshiebwe during that possession. Went down and got up gingerly on the offensive end. Great hands by Wallace, and Tshiebwe gets it.
3 turnovers already on the offensive end for the Wildcats.
But only 21 points in the first half, not what John Calipari had in mind. It was Wallace with the pick. 3-on-2.
So we basically played the 5-0. This is the 90s 5-0. And it's a very simple offense. Right there you see the instinct. This kid's got great hands, big strong hands, great length.
Here in the early going. Interesting, Watson has started on Tshiebwe, not Drew Timme.
Jimmy lost the handle. It's a turnover. And now Wheeler and that one taken away. Wallace.
Boy, his hand strength and his hand speed. Oh, wow. I understand from a coaching standpoint when you finally throw one in, the jubilation.
turnover. Kentucky back the other way. Points and 19 rebounds combined.
This is his hot spot. Kentucky did a good job of coming with that double team low.
6 minutes and 42 seconds, and you would think with long trip out to the West Coast to Spokane for a game Sunday afternoon, they'll try to get him out of this second half quick. Here's Frederick, transition 3.
Studi, who will come off the bench. He's a stretch 4 and 5 now with Liam Robbins out. They're going to have to beat Kentucky from beyond the arc.
Who, after he took an elbow to the brow last night and opened up on him. Talked to him before the game. He said, I kind of like the purple. It's very fashionable. Freshman Lewis for 3. No hesitation. No
from the basket. Make him play through some ball screens, back screens, you name it.
He has set up camp in the lane here. 3 ball good. Tyron Lawrence. Out to Lewis. 3 ball. Lewis will pull from deep. Out to Lewis. Shot clock at 5. Lewis kicks it. Shot clock at 2. And the 3 is good.
Robbins and Lawrence. Second time that Jerry Stackhouse has utilized this 5. The first time their last game against Florida. Smith top of the key, no. Assisted matters. Curious to see what the big man matchup looks like today.
Don't you kind of feel like both teams are feeling each other out?
Certainly.
Those are important 50-50 balls for the Commodores in this game.
Studi at deep 3. March, right?
Vandy's going to have to figure out a way to get some three-point shots.
Thomas hurt you. Couldn't finish. Now 2 months ago, it was 37 points and 24 boards. Jordan Wright, a skip pass and an open look. Big 3 from the corner.
Said Auburn, not a very good three-point shooting team. Green 3. Rebound by Rudy's got their biggest lead of the game. And the 13-3 run. Green 3, book it.
3-point midline.
24-point lead, the biggest today by the Wildcats. 3, Williams.
Florida will reset. Here's Reeves for 3. Yeah.
I just know we're going to finish about 40 minutes faster than I did last night between Tennessee and A&M. Uh-oh.
Google fouled on the three.
At home, and then they finish up at Arkansas. Hanging right in that 7-8 seed conversation over.
Tyree Key, transfer from Indiana State, usually provides some stable offense. That's a deep one. Vescovy, 1996. You happen to be there with me. Maybe you forgot about it. Get it in. Vescovy, no. Foley has maybe another 2 inches in there.
Take advantage of his minutes.
Vescovy swings. Ziegler lines it up. Bottom. A throw go in this first half. 33-19 Kentucky.
He's the guy that's got to get going.
Vescovy's been quiet. Key, catch and shoot. Check. Beautiful spin. Hooks it inside. Shot clock down to 8.
Boy, a nice cover by Wallace. What a good defender.
Vescovy swing for Meshack. Gets it back. Vescovy too strong. He overcooked it. Up.
These 2 guards can make things happen.
Vescovy, ball fake on a 3.
Tries to relocate.
Ziegler doesn't go.
10 to shoot. Reed again, corner triple. Yes! Splashes that. Shaquille Moore for the lead.
He said, I need to stay aggressive. That was an aggressive play.
Moore left open, no. Matthews.
They ran the play for it.
Moore launching.
To shoot more.
Moore in the last 5 has been sensational. 10 of 19 from deep, and you see the production has exploded as Jeffrey starts the half over
position.
It's his second foul. Moore open for a moment.
Trying for points in the paint. They turn that one over. Loose ball controlled by the Dogs. Oquendo off the mark.
With him now that we're 11 years old in the 6th grade. That's crazy.
Crazy. And Ingram right on cue.
With who you are.
Oquendo, the step back triple. Maybe not what Mike.
Kentucky has already played 1 possession of zone in this game. Arkansas now a team that
1 second on the shot clock, Jimmy. Looks good from the shot. And
if you give up on UConn, shame on you. I think that team is still Elite 8, Final 4 good.
Black back in. He fires a 3. That's no good. This is not a... Black will shoot it. Too strong and a rebound.
The entire ball game.
Kentucky, one of the best rebounding teams in the country. They've doubled up the Gators in that category so far tonight. Reeves. And that was a concern.
Get Frederick running one lane and Reeves running the other, and Sheboy running to the rim. A lot of pressure to cover.
Bottom can't movement, and Gators still can't find a shot. Here's Richard. Oh, Castleton had to come right to him. Opportunities for that, and with those wins, they would stay in the top half of the league. Lofton rattles one home.
Florida, by the way, has been tremendous.
He's such a magnificent athlete. Plays above the rim.
A 3 rattles home for DeJuan.
Commodores emotional stackhouse after that game.
He's guarded by Wallace now. Right into traffic and off the glass. Point threat, but he hit one last night. Here he is penetrating again.
He's just got an extra gear, man. He was 22 and white, just kind of hanging out right inside that 18-foot area.
Magnon only 4 of 27 from 3 all season. Steps through, got it. You know, Magnon and Lewis, especially small in the backcourt. Right, banks it in.
And that works because Sheboy is out.
I don't think John Calipari is a fan of the way they're not calling the post defense by Vandy, saying Sheboy's continuing to...
Positionally based defensively. What I mean by that is neither team takes away a lot. They don't force a lot of turnovers. He has become the player that everybody thought he could be, and now he's doing it on a nightly basis.
Lawrence up and in. Commodores trying to get back in the good graces of one ESPN bracketologist, Joe Lenardi.
Dribble hook, and it's off. Rebound pulled down that time by Moore. Donaldson, the freshman, tries to drive, and it's pickpocketed that time by Livingston. A.D. Johnson will miss. Cardwell has the offensive rebound. Green trying to go up and taken away by Wallace with the defense. He's all over the place. Hitting threes, playing defense, passing. And Green tries the reverse on the drive. Picked up by...
3 after a lead at the half. Lofton change of direction and a finger roll.
A little bit of momentum here. Tennessee trailing by 18.
Yeah, this is like dribble drive game. Easy. Nice little start, nice little ploy. Come out of contain if you're Kentucky.
Vescovy.
There it is again.
Against the freshman, the acceleration. Gets the bucket. Baca saves it.
Well, you got to squeeze him. His strength prevails. Not look at this gift by Vescovy.
And the tip roll.
To them lifers. They love the game. Great success stories. This kid is, speaking of success stories,
Meshack, the zigzag.
Georgia has made huge progress in their defense from last year to this year under Mike White. Still not great, but about 200 points for Reeves. It feels like Kentucky has found themselves offensively. Can they get stops, which has been their issue all year long?
Closed with a 28-14 run to win that game. Terry Roberts, nice spin.
I absolutely love Terry. Simple floppy action for Reeves.
Here's Hill. Swallowed up by that.
Black goes baseline, loses it.
Involves a big on a point guard. Reeves got it off the out-of-bounds under.
Black, they drive right by his defender, Wallace.
And eating into the lead.
And the long arms of Richard was so important on that play because he got to the ball just in time before the...
Dick is fouled.
And that's something that Grady Dick has done a much better job in the Baylor game.
Ready to roll. Jordan Wright probing. Got to go. 1 to shoot.
Kentucky just sitting back in the paint. Magnon's a guy that had such great penetration against Georgia. And there he is, getting to that right hand.
And confident when the game is hard and playing hard on the road, controlling the tempo, battling on the boards. Now this is...
Radford got a half step on him. Sheboy's playing with 2 fouls. Challenge his shot, but Radford...
Huge number for A&M to try to overcome right now, Tom. They have 13 turnovers, the Aggies do, which has equated to 19 fewer shots. Is phenomenal at reading the ball and understanding where misses come from.
7-0 Kentucky run.
Our guard-dominated ball club, Zero-In Roberts is the main guy. So good off the bounce, and there it is.
Great example right by Wallace and Roberts. That's an ESPN News Inside the Bubble story, which Jimmy will share in a moment. Hill throws up a wild shot, got beat.
I'm just wondering when Mike White will have to change his individual defense and start firing on Sheboy.
Top in the big block. Little bit bench right into the bucket. Oh, blow by Roberts to Sheboy. Throws it up too hard. Oh, and it's out of bounds offensive effort for last year's player of the year in the country. Roberts, no finger roll. That time Sheboy was
called complicated action to guard. But Reeves just able to get in the middle so easily. Give credit to Reeves, but not Rick Barnes' favorite.
Sheboy, that's another big body. And Johnson to the rack. Wheeler got him on the arm.
Right. If you cannot guard the ball, you can't win ball games.
Bradley into Wallace, and he drew the foul, and that's going to be the second foul, Jimmy, on with the minutes you play. Hannibal hard to the hole, and that is just exactly what you talked about, rolling that. Wallace with 12. Miller the drive, met at the rim, Toppin offensive rebound. Fountain.
He has not had a touch on the box. They're doubling Curry.
Ellis to the basket, sweeps it and lays it in. Lands. And James, foul going up. Count the
continuation, yeah.
John is one of the best, though. He's definitely one of the best.
Huntley Hatfield goes out to James. James over the top of Toppin, gets the roll.
This is the end he specializes in. He made a catch against Missouri, Jay. I know you watched the tape where they threw it the length of the floor.
Kentucky proved that they can stay that reliable from 3, and they've been unable to do so in this one.
They're new to the SWAC, longtime
MEAC squad. Little penetration cut off.
It's 22 and white, just kind of hanging out right inside that 18-foot area.
Magnon only 4 of 27 from 3 all season. Steps through, got it. You know, Lewis will pull from deep.
Really impose his will, especially on the glass.
This Vanderbilt backcourt playing with so much confidence. Magnon. I don't think John Calipari is a fan of the way they're not calling the post defense by Vandy, saying Tshiebwe's continuing to.
He has become the player that everybody thought he could be, and now he's doing it on a nightly basis.
Lawrence up and in March, right?
The Vandy's going to have to figure out a way to get some three-point shots.
Thomas hurt you, couldn't finish. Commodores trying to get back in the good graces of one ESPN bracketologist, Joe Lenardi.
He's got their biggest lead of the game and the 13-3 run. Green 3, book it. 3-point pass, he's all over the place. Hitting threes, playing defense, passing. And Green tries the reverse on the drive. Picked up by
those two guys doing damage on the glass.
Looked at his hands like the character from the Never-Ending Story. Can't believe he dropped the basketball.
Shaquille Moore for the lead.
With who you are.
Oquendo, the step back triple. Maybe not what Mike.
I think it's important to make sure what we're saying is Kentucky would be out of what's projected right now. They still got a month.
Closed with a 28-14 run to win that game. Terry Roberts, nice spin.
I absolutely love Terry.
Boy, Black got his hand right up on the neck of Wallace, and the official was right.
If you give up on UConn, shame on you. I think that team is still Elite 8, Final Four good.
Black back in, he fires a 3. That's no good. This is not a.
Involves a big on a point guard. Reeves got it off the out-of-bounds under.
Black, they drive right by his defender, Wallace.
Got to man up and be a factor for Kentucky, not only in this game, but going forward.
Black tries it again, throws up a wild one that goes over the front of the rim.
Media timeout. Lofton lost it. Frederick found it. Kentucky with a chance to push. Movement. And Gators still can't find a shot. Here's Richard. Oh, Castleton had to come right to him.
The last 12 seasons, these two great programs have met either in this event or in the Champions Classic. A turnover. Tshiebwe shovels it out.
Kansas has been very assertive on the offensive end, and now a turnover.
And KJ Adams commits the foul. Ball in a 2-point lead here at Rupp. Loose ball off the foot of Grady Dick, out of bounds. His second foul. So Jay, some big minutes here for the freshman Zuby Ejiofor. And he will lay it in to make it
away from the defense. And Ude able to get the steal.
This time they can't convert at the other end on the alley-oop attempt. Point of the second half in what has been a really entertaining game. Not surprisingly here in Lexington. Harris's runner won't go down in top in wrap paper. He's so wide open. Harris left alone and misses the 3.
Radford got a half step on him. Tshiebwe's playing with 2 fouls. Challenge a shot, but Radford.
Huge number for A&M to try to overcome right now, Tom. They have 13 turnovers, the Aggies do, which has equated to 19 fewer shots. Vicious cut by Frederick to run to get the ball to start with, and then to stay under control and not shoot an off-balance jumper. Our guard-dominated ball club, Zero-In Roberts is the main guy. So good off the bounce, and there it is.
Great example right by Wallace and Roberts. They fell behind Tennessee 8-0, and then rallied to win at Rocky Top. And look at Roberts with a step back. No good. Tshiebwe waiting tonight is C.J. Frederick. He's 0 for 4.
Man, Reeves and Frederick, they got to make shots. That's their #1 job description. This kid's
a dagger right there. Got beat.
I'm just wondering when Mike White will have to change his individual defense and start firing on Tshiebwe.
Top in the big block. Little bit bench right into the bucket. Oh, blow by Roberts to Tshiebwe. Throws it up too hard. Oh, and it's out of bounds off of
Joe Lindsey sprinting on the side in position to make the call. Well, he's got some shape, does he?
He does, and he's got some bake as he knocks down a effort for last year's Player of the Year in the country. Roberts, no finger roll. That time Shibwe was
in the half court all game long. Vescovi almost lost it, has to dive to the deck, and Kentucky's got it again. So back-to-back turnovers.
Complicated action to guard. But Reeves just able to get in the middle so easily. Give credit to Reeves, but not Rick Barnes' favorite.
They dump it down low. Bediako was too deep, and the foul on Wallace. Sears into the body of Oscar Shibwe. What a play. Miller. Yes, sir. They got the switch. They threw it to Phillips, and he never got off the ground. Reeves ahead of the...
After he took an elbow to the brow last night and opened up on him. Talked to him before the game. He said, I kind of like the purple. It's very fashionable.
Robbins and Lawrence. Second time that Jerry Stackhouse has utilized this five. The first time their last game against Florida. Smith top of the key, no.
Positionally based defensively. What I mean by that is neither team takes away a lot. They don't force a lot of turnovers.
4-2 lead for Kentucky.
Vescovi so busy, makes it tough defensively. Nice hands.
He bounced it off the foot. 1996. You happen to be there with me. Maybe you forgot about it. Get it in. Vescovi, no. Foul. Vescovi swing for Meshack. Gets it back. Vescovi, too strong. He overcooked it.
Position.
It's his second foul. More open for a moment.
And confident when the game is hard and playing hard on the road, controlling the tempo, battling on the boards. Now this is
through the game. That might be helpful.
Still basking in the glow of the lack of a play-by-play announcer that he had in his last game when you and Jimmy
have Oscar Shibwe, Kentucky. They'll be in Tuscaloosa. Brandon Miller's been outstanding. Alabama currently number 7. 3-pointer drops for you sneak Chick-fil-A into movie theaters. There's all sorts of things people need to know about you. Miller, short. Shibwe, another good games for Jacob Toppin in double figures now with 10. Miller, open 3. Too strong.
LSU need
point performance. Fountain thought about a 3. Miller doesn't think about it. He just launches and he knocks down his LSU basketball after the 3 and a chance to cut the 3-point lead down to 0 if Miller can knock another one down. He doesn't, and Wheeler,
who wins those single-digit games, going to determine your SEC champ.
Miller's got rid of it quickly. Bam! Tipped up in it.
He has not had a touch on the box.
They're doubling Curry.
Ellis for the basket, sweeps it and lays it in. Kid from Camden, New Jersey. They'll be helped out by a couple of Camden players next year. Ellis, baseline jumper, too strong.
Ratio, point of emphasis for Coach Gates. Very smart, high IQ ball club.
Here's Kobe Brown, knocked out of there by CJ.
That was in the midst of a 16-0 Kentucky run early on. Good ball fake.
Looking for Tiger to run the show. Always gets back to him. Look who's there.
Kelly saves it. Under 10 on the shot clock. Here's Malloy. 16-footer, yes.
By Hunter Dickinson.
Chet Howard takes it. That's a floater. That won't go. Oscar with another rebound. And Kentucky Dickinson got to throw it behind Wallace, who wasn't looking, and he turned at the last second like a good defensive back and picked it off.
That left hook, which he spins baseline on, as well as anyone in the country working for him. Strother at 3. It's too easy. You got to go out and bear hug Timmy and just back up with him instead of putting hands on.
Ball screen by Jacob Toppin. Read that defense well, but you just saw his balance and creativity finishing in the paint.
Anya.
And there's more of the great defense by the freshman Cason Wallace. I mean, they believe as a true freshman. You and I think this snuck up on us. They haven't been to the NCAA tournament since 1977. I mean, there's some.
Okay, he's got to stay lower in his pivoting. Bid on better balance, and then they're going to give up open shot. He's really going to lose his mind.
Good thing he was
to play on their national team.
Nice pass.
Wow. Wallace was hanging around.
They're really getting beat.
3 after a lead at the half. Lofton change of direction and a finger roll.
Trying to contain if you're Kentucky. Vescovy. There it is again. Against the freshman. The acceleration. Gets the fucking
shoot. Against the taller Wallace. And that should be a shot clock violation.
Georgia has made huge progress in their defense from last year to this year under Mike White. Still not great, but about 200 points for Reeves. It feels like Kentucky has found themselves offensively. Can they get stops, which has been their issue all year long? Simple floppy action for Reeves.
Here's Hill. Swallowed up by that
point in the near future, as Davis just dribbled himself into a turnover. So you take a look at Eric Musselman's resume. Remember,
get Frederick running one lane and Reeves running the other, and Sheboy running to the rim. A lot of pressure to cover.
Bottom can't. 5. Wallace at the point, a couple of shooters in Frederick and Reeves, and then Toppin and Sheboy up front. That lineup, Jay, is
ready to roll. Jordan Wright probing. Got to go. 1 to shoot.
Kentucky just sitting back in the paint. Magnon's a guy that had such great penetration against Georgia. And there he is, getting to that right hand.
Is phenomenal at reading the ball and understanding where misses come from.
7-0 Kentucky run.
That's an ESPN News Inside the Bubble story, which Jimmy will share in a moment. Hill throws up a wild shot. Roberts is Wallace. Got him on an island. Roberts will go to work. 10 seconds to go. That's a very good defensive position by sitting here with 16 points. No one else is in double figures. And this is Roberts. And he lost the ball for a second and threw it up, and he drew the foul, so he'll go to the way. That's another big body. And Johnson to the rack. Wheeler got him on the arm. Right. If you cannot guard the ball, you can't win ball games. Bradley into Wallace, and he drew the foul, and that's going to be the second foul, Jimmy, on Sears step back. Play.
Lands.
Let her go. He can go. He can go.
He stopped his dribble. The double team just throws it up. Roosevelt Wheeler.
This is the end he specializes in. He made a catch against Missouri, Jay. I know you watched the tape where they threw it the length of the floor.
Nobody stops the ball, and Tillman takes it all the way. And their loss in Louisville was the Cardinals getting to the free throw line. They had 15 more points from the line than FAMU did. Here's Tillman. 20-point Kentucky lead. It was down to 7 in the second half.
And Wallace forced the turnover.
Ooh, had it. He missed the bounce pass. Fade away, no.
Trying to improve that, and that is a spot-up catch 3. And for most players, that's going to be at least a high percentage.
United for both clubs.
Out of bounds, it'll go the other way. Kentucky basketball.
To start the ball game.
Consigue su primer triple a lo largo de este encuentro, pero sabemos que con eso suele responder el equipo de Michigan State.
Flex cut to get Toppin a look in the paint. That's a pretty quality trip. Wow, green light.
Good looking move by Clark.
Hawkins has the rebound, and it is danger zone right now for Howard with 3:20 to go in this first half.
Hawkins left it short. Cal wasn't happy with that shot from Toppin. Here's Jelani Williams.
Wow, you won't be happy with that either. Player. Not only physical with the drives, but physical on the boards, and he has been that tonight so far.
Black Jackets protect those ribs. More on that later. Here's Wright. And he turned it over. He thought Malora Brown would stay on the near side. Wright with the step through. But if you're Jordan Wright, let it go off the clock on the other end, and Jacob Toppin is going to stay in. Under 5 to play. Magnon runs into Wallace, and a blocking foul on Cason.
Completely.
completely. I would like to see Kentucky have a more concerted effort to get the ball inside.
Laura Brown, no.
Katie Johnson through traffic. Outside for Williams. Into Ware to the rack on the fly. Rebound Williams. Perch up. Williams slithers and gets free. Card important last 3 minutes here for Auburn. Flanagan inside, right into Wallace. Get the bye in the upcoming SEC tournament. Driving Flanagan inside, explodes for the two.
And Wallace, tremendous with his eyes, with the read and the drive.
Kugel with the dish to Jatobo. And the 6'11ers have made each of their last 3. Jatobo.
Really
graceful.
Really nice by Jatobo with 10 rebounds and Livingston with 10. And Livingston's going to out-rebound Sheboy again. Not easy to do.
It's a great
49-37 Wildcats. Crowd has been re-energized. Vescovy takes it in and lays it home.
Jeffries lost a shoe.
It's only half on. Tolu Smith inside, does not matter.
Defense again.
Good job by Holt to crack down and get involved on the glass.
5 on the shot clock, and Mitchell has it 25 feet away from the basket. Davis sees a lane, and Van, little Euro step.
The 27 that ghost action by Kentucky.
Lofton turns a corner. And a foul inside will go against Tutton. Trying to shake Sheboy, and he'll go to the free throw line.
Talk about it. Jacob Toppin with a spin move.
With confidence tonight, but Grady Dick knocks it away, and now Kansas in transition. Wilson blocked, but Wilson left alone. Boy, they backed off the guy with the ball, who's a 21. 5 assists for Harris.
Got the only 2 made threes for Kansas.
McCullough leaves the jumper short. Good play.
Call. Oh, and Wallace hit the deck hard inside the restricted area.
The SEC just playing so much smarter. Alabama, Oklahoma, of course, Oklahoma kind of needing to work.
They're down 15 late to TCU. Here's Marble working on Ware. And Sheba with the rebound.
Missed a layup that time. Yeah, Wheeler should have had that ball, and he didn't. He comes back, though, and uses those hands, and now to our half court. Raheem threw it up. He got a foul. He'll go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Last shot of the half coming up. Hill trying to blow by Wallace. Gets to the baseline, threw it, turnover. And the ball on the floor, and who picks it up? Sheboy, and then he lost. Said enough with the offensive rebounds for Kentucky. The bowling ball to the rack. No foul. He's on the ground, and
J.J. Trainer's in there also at the 4 spot, which allows him to spread out.
And he's an offensive rebounder, too. Penetration.
Throws 7th time this year. He's had 10 points or more. Again, he didn't have anything against Missouri. Here's Ellis. Ellis to the basket.
Louisville's got to finish this strong. Just for their team's psyche.
Yeah.
James in the post.
Yeah, James has it blocked away. Reed.
Kobe Brown with the big first half. Goes right to the basket and fouled on the way to.
Bates trying to shake Ware. Good finish. Blows June. Wild hook shot. Tillman trying to work on Toppin. Advantage FAMU. Rebound number 7.
Throw that by at the end. That's where he is tough, using that early screen. How about
Campbell trying to lob it. Sheboy got in the way. Wheeler came up.
November and December are all about, right? Malloy launching. Back iron. And yes, oh, no. Oh,
yes!
I think he's searching for different ways to play it more. Jarvis gets his own miss. Back up and in. He's been impressive early.
Very efficient as well. 10 of 14 from the floor. Jarvis in and out. shortcut. Feinberg was hammered.
On this team and the best shooter by far.
Dickinson the handoff to Bufkin. He goes back to him. Nice play.
Shot to jump shot. They're guarding each other. Denied by Wheeler. It's about their offensive goals every possession, and basically he's like, we've got 3 looks we're going for. We want to fly as Hendrickson gets one to go.
It's in traffic. Jimmy on the floor, puts it up and in. It's off Bolt. Shot clock under 10. Jimmy with deep position, and it knocked away, and a turnover. It's a drop.